Welcome to my werewolf makeup tutorial. The first thing that I do is I glue my eyebrows down and I brush them up. The next thing that I do is I take a little bit of concealer or primer and put it underneath my eyes and on top of my eyelids. Then I take a foundation that's a couple of shades darker than I am and start applying it all over. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a dark shading stick, darker than that one, and start putting shading underneath my jawline. This is a very dark brown. I believe it's called espresso. And then I start to draw out where veins would be, and that's why you see me popping my neck out there. And I just go along the shadows. I also do that in my muscles and, yeah, on my brow line. And then I'm going to blend that out. Now you'll notice me do an important thing here. I start to grimace so that you can see where the lines in my face will be, where the lines in my brow will be, where the lines in my lips will be, because I feel like this adds to the character. So I often find myself making really weird faces in the mirror and grimacing. Then I just take the same contour and shade brush, shade color, and put it on a brush. Instead of, the stick, I just put it on a brush and work it in that way. I try to define the lines where my brows meet in the middle. I blend my hairline at the top with the same color. I haven't changed colors yet. Still the same espresso brown. Now I create my lower lip, and I extend my natural lip line a little bit on the edges. And then now using the same brown, I take my finger and I go into the orbits of my eyes and in the corner of my eyes by my nose, just to give them a little bit of depth so they look a little sunken in. I also go to the edges of my eyes, underneath my nostrils, and there's 2 marks underneath my eyes to try to give that a little bit more depth, and then I blend all of that out. I'm now taking a darker brown that's not blended and making it look like there are little hairlines with a very fine brush. Once again, you're going to see me growl. It happens often. I have now taken black eyeshadow and I'm going into the corners of my eyes and going above where my brow would sit to make it look like my eyes are very sunken in. And I'm also whipping it out gently to the corner of my eye, towards my nose, to make it look like it's coming forward a little more. I am now giving myself the preliminary nose. Now, with the nose, there's many things you can do. You can make it bigger, you can make it a full nose. I like it when my actual nose comes out a little further, so that it sits like that. You could go up further on the edges, but I think that that looks a little silly on me. I then take the black again and I make a few lines. Underneath my eye, I messed up. Everybody does. But the more that you make faces and grimace, the more that you'll see where natural lines would be formed anyhow. And then I make it look like this guy hasn't had much sleep. I am taking black eyeshadow and creating deeper lines where the dark espresso color was. I'm going over my eyebrows now. And you want to make them really thick and meaty because it sells the character. Now I'm going in with eyeliner and defining where I want the nose of the werewolf to sit. I decided to add the line between the mouth today, which I don't normally do because I thought that that would be an interesting look, and I think it worked. I then go in and add more lines where the hair would be and darken my temples and my hairline. In a minute, I'm going to start to use a different type of brown, a different value, and the one that I'm going to use is actually a eyebrow gel, and it's called Tattooed Brows, I believe is the name of it. It works really well. It stays on, and I just use it to define a little bit more the lines that are on the face. And then you blend it out, of course. And then I take mascara and I go over the brows that I glued down to make them look a little wiry and all over the place. I put a little in my hairline just to make it look like some type of transformation's happening up there. I also bring it down to start a new widow's peak. I darken the edges of my natural hair. Here's another thing I forgot to mention. I drew the lines on my nose with the espresso colored shading stick, and then I went over it again with the tattoo stick. Now I'm going in with my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I know she doesn't vaccinate her kids. I'm doing my best. I'm not proud. And I highlight the areas that need a little bit more light to hit them because we just blended a whole bunch, so you're going to lose that value. I find it very important to highlight the top lip and the bottom lip above the shade line because it makes it appear as though the lip is coming out more than it actually is. Then I put on mascara on my eyes. It's good to mention also that I take the mascara that goes on my eyes and I also use it on my face. Now, when I use it for my facial hair, it's there right now, and it adds just a little bit. I have peach fuzz on my face, and I just gently graze it with the mascara, and the look is phenomenal. I use it for everyday drag, and for this look, it works really well. Now I'm using that tattoo color and going harder into where lines should be created, and then I'm going to blend it out, making my lip line deeper than it normally would be with that same dark tattoo eyebrow color. I'm creating what would be a beard, mutton chops, and then the hair is going to go on. You can purchase theatrical hair from anywhere, even Amazon, and then you can purchase liquid latex the same way, or Pros-Aide. I use a foundation applier that I already used, so it's already kind of gnarly and it's going to go out anyhow, and then I just slowly dab on the hair a little bit. It doesn't have to look good because it's supposed to look wild and like this guy's in the middle of a transformation, so. And then if there's any spots, you just fill it in with black makeup or black eyeshadow, which is what I do. If there's a piece that seems like it's too much, you just puff it out and make it better. At this point, it's just a little cleanup work. See where you need to fix. Clearly the hair needed to be fixed a little bit. The bottom lip was drawn on with the same thing that I drew the nose on, which was just eyeliner. And then I went in and made some wrinkles. I fixed my temples a little bit, and then he's ready to go. Thank you so much for watching my tutorial. I would like to do more in the future, and I hope that you enjoyed this very much. So this is the finished look. I contour when I took photos, at least. I contoured in my, like, I guess the groove, the nape of my muscles, my natural musculature. You don't have to. It's a preference that I have. I also popped in contacts, put in Scarecrow brand fangs that I now have molded to my top incisors. So it's just something to do. The look gives less for performance and more for posing, but it still works. The idea is that you have an extra line here, an extra line here, and then the hair flowed way better on this side than it did on this side, so cheat to the audience whenever we start performing again. Anyhow, thank you for listening, and have a good night.